What's up, guys? Good evening. Look at that sunlight. Welcome to Roma Theory and welcome to my reaction to Gasperini's first ever pre-game press conference for tomorrow's game against Bologna. A very long one, a very interesting one, a lot of interesting things to say. Look at that, by the way. That's a ghost house. You can't convince me that ain't a ghost house. And I'm actually sleeping in there. If I don't get kidnapped by ghosts tonight, I'd consider it a miracle. I'd love to see Roma tomorrow, so hopefully everything goes to plan. And there's also a black cat over there. Oh my god, where am I filming this video? Right, what was I gonna say? A very interesting press conference. Jokes aside, let's get back to business. It's been a few weeks of entertainment, summer months, so we have to get back to work now, get back to business. And I think this press conference says a lot about the character that Gasperini is. What is that? Oh, and I'm also filming this video while being death stared by a rabbit. I'm not gonna restart this because I know you guys love these things, these like natural parts of these videos, but I am being death stared by a rabbit over there. Anyways, jokes aside, back to seriousness. All seriousness here. I was listening to Gasperini's press conference today, and I think the first thing we must say is, if you're surprised by many things that he said today, the way he kind of handled with the Pelleigrini situation, which we will get into in a second, this is Gasperini. If you don't know who Gasperini is, if you haven't followed much of Gasperini back at Atalanta, this is Gasperini. Gasperini is direct. Gasperini has no breaks. Gasperini has no hairs on his tongue, as we say in Italian. He will say what has to be said. If he doesn't like something that the board has done, he will say it out loud, no problems. If he wants to say something which maybe he shouldn't say about how the club wants to deal in this example with the Pelleigrini situation, he doesn't care. He explained what the club wants to do with Pellegrini step by step, detail by detail. Gasperini is this, and it's not a surprise that many times at Atalanta he fell out with single players, last example being Lookman, because I do think he's got some weaknesses when it comes to man management. Now again, he hasn't said anything weird and personal to Pellegrini, but he has very accurately described what Roma's intentions with Pellegrini are from now until his contract, which is going to expire next summer. And I think something very important to mention is that being the first press conference, which is normal, especially because I think he's been warned about the journalists in Rome and the media outlets in Rome and the main media and everything regarding the Roma environment. It's very mediatic. One of the biggest danger traps of managers coming to Rome is exactly this, falling in this media trap. And he's been warned about this by Ranieri, by the board, by the fans themselves. Because going from Atalanta to Roma, not only it's an atmosphere jump, but it's an environment jump also when it comes to the media. Because you're constantly being spoken about 24 hours 7 by journalists, radio outlets, main media, everything. So I think he stepped in this press conference, being the first press conference, going, this is who I am. I'm very direct. If you've got problems with me, don't ask me questions. And I think the perfect way to describe this is that he set the tone. He set the tone for what is going to be a very long season. He set the tone, kind of perfectly introduced himself, perfectly made everyone around him understand who he is, what he doesn't like during press conferences. And it was a very long press conference. He said it himself. Normally, they're not this long. Normally, he's way more direct. But being the first press conference, he wanted to, get to know the journalists very well, get to know their names, maybe jot down their names, because at the end of the day, it's always the same ones asking questions. So I think getting onto the criteria of the of the press conference, of course, as expected, 98% of the questions today were not about the game. And the few questions that he got asked about the game, he was like, oh my God, thank God, a question about tomorrow's game. A lot of the questions today were about the transfer session, about the Sancho situation, about the signings done, about Bailey's injury. One of the first questions was about Bailey's injury, and he said that it was very unexpected, and that, you know, he's got footage of the way Bailey got injured, and it's so surprising how he got injured, because according to him, it was something very natural. He spoke about the signings. He spoke about how, again, he repeated some things that he said in the first initial press conference with the one next to Ranieri, where he said that the signings that Roma did this summer were aimed for a long-term project, that Roma sees in these signings a long-term vision, because the average age of the new signings, I mean, Wesley's 2003, Ferguson is 1 year older than me. Ghilardi is 2003 as well. The oldest one is El Enawi, who is 23 years old. So that just puts to mind what the objective is. Reduce the average age, grow these players, resell them, clear your debts. We all know what Gasperini is here to do. I think the most important things, of course, he spoke about Bologna, but not much. Difficult game, difficult opponent, fast opponent, an opponent which knows how to play with the manager's philosophy, because they're 1 year ahead of us. Everything that we mentioned yesterday in the match preview, I'm not going to focus on that, because as I repeat, 99% of the press conference today was not about the game. It was about everything else. Two important things. Number one, I think, is that he repeated once again how he expected more. And when it comes to this, Gasperini reminds me a lot about Mourinho. And I actually like this, because I like managers who are never satisfied, because they always put pressure on the board in wanting more. And it's always good to have managers who want more. It's better to have a manager that always wants more and is never satisfied than somebody who's kind of a puppet of the board and everything. Always better the first option, 100%. 101%. However, Gasperini isn't massively happy about this transfer session. These are the vibes that I got. These are the confirmations that we have. He expected a bit more. He knew all the difficulties that we had, so it's no surprise. But he expected some signings to have been done earlier, because we are currently, if you eliminate the Bailey signing, in a stall, in like a 2-3 week stall where we're not signing any players. And this is something that Gasperini doesn't like. So that's one of the two things that, of course, you can grasp out of this press conference. He expected more. Now, whether this is, again, I always feel like when in the press conference, especially being the first press conference, the manager starts saying, I'm not 100% happy, I expected more. Media and journalists start dramatizing this situation. I don't think it's as dramatic as people make it to be. Oh my God, we have another rabbit. Where is that rabbit? Where did it come from? Where did it come from? If I jump in the hole, I'm gonna get into Alice Wonderland. In the Wonderland world. Is that even its name? I don't know. Let's not distract ourselves. I promise we have to keep serious. What I was saying is, normally, media outlets and everything tend to dramatize the fact that managers are never satisfied. It's not as dramatic as people make it to be. I wanted more. I'm not massively satisfied by this transfer session either. I agree, Gasperini. With Gasperini, I comprehend his confusion, his perplexities, and his not being 100% satisfied. I completely share this thought with him. I think this transfer session had to be better, but we were restricted and Gasperini knew about our problems. So let's not dramatize a problem that, yes, can be a problem. We've still got 10 days in the transfer session. We can still add quality, but we need to hurry up. The other thing, which I think is the one thing that people took the most from this press conference, is the Pellegrini scenario. Basically, what Gasperini did is that he directly said to the journalist which asked him the Pellegrini question, I am not the perfect person to get asked this question, because I am neither Pellegrini and I'm neither the board. But I'm going to speak for Pellegrini and the board, and I'm going to say how the situation is. And what Gasperini said, he's basically confirmed, said word by word, that the club doesn't want to extend Pellegrini's contract. So, for the sake of Pellegrini's personal objectives, and for the sake of the club, who doesn't want to lose him as a free agent next summer because his contract is running out, if Pellegrini is happy to join another club in these last 10 days, he can leave. That's what Gasperini said word by word. He confirmed that Pellegrini is no longer part of the Roma project. A little opinion on this. First opinion, I think this was made very clear the day Gasperini decided to withdraw the captain armband from Pellegrini. I think it was clear. It was clear that he wasn't part of a project. I am being severely attacked by a rabbit down here. It's coming closer to me. I don't want to get bitten. I really don't. It's got some yellow hair. I don't know what it has. I hope it doesn't have diabetes. But I am being severely attacked by a rabbit. Yeah. It was clear. It was clear the day his captaincy was kind of removed from him. Other thing. Question to everybody who is now all of a sudden blaming Gasperini, because I've already seen some people go, how does Gasperini do this? How can a man who doesn't understand the Roma environment come in and basically psychologically kill our captain like this? I answer to you going, are you surprised? Are you surprised about what Gasperini said? Why the hell is that rabbit standing up? Why the hell is it stomping its feet? Why the hell is it stomping its feet? Maybe I should go away. Oh, and the cat is following me too now. I'm gonna leave that rabbit alone. There's something about white rabbits which scares the shit out of me. Anyways, yeah, are you surprised? Are you surprised about everything that Gasperini said regarding Pellegrini? Because I'm not. We all knew this. Pellegrini is no longer part of the Roma project. Roma want to sell him. Very simple. Ideally, Roma don't want to lose him as a free because they want to make some money. So, I'm not surprised. However, the fact that the manager of Roma, again, needs to talk about these issues in press conferences rather than a sporting director, or rather than a Claudio Ranieri who is now part of the board, or even better, the owners, but I'm wishful thinking as they never speak. Why are we still giving the manager these issues to center and talk about? Why? Didn't we learn from the Budapest and what Mourinho taught us? Leave the manager to manage the team. Leave these issues to the sporting director. We still haven't learned this lesson. We still, years after that Budapest final, years after one of the best managers that we've ever had, going out there and say, the problem at this football club is that manager Jose Mourinho, needs to do more than just manage the football club, and that I can't tolerate that. And we are still, after De Rossi, after Juric, after Ranieri, we're still giving the manager these issues to speak about, and that's where the problem lies. Gasperini shouldn't go out there in a press conference and go, the club has told me, and it's very clear that the club doesn't want Pellegrini anymore. They don't want to extend the contract. Gasperini doesn't care. That's not something that, of course Gasperini is involved, but that's not something that Gasperini needs to talk about. Because what's the problem? Now that Gasperini has said this in his first press conference, all those Pellegrini fans, which I'm a Pellegrini fan as well, but I acknowledge the fact that Pellegrini needs to leave because his time is done. All those traditionalist Romanism fans will go, why the hell does Gasperini, who does he think he is, speaking about our captain like this? And you're already throwing the bus on the manager. You're throwing the manager under the bus immediately. So, yeah, look, the Pellegrini situation, I can agree with some people. Maybe it was better if he didn't say these things. But at the end of the day, it's Gasperini. What do you expect? He's so direct that it shouldn't even be a surprise to anyone that he's saying these things out loud. He's very direct, and if he has a problem with you, he will say it out loud. But yeah, guys, look, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I'm sorry if it was a bit chaotic, but I didn't restart it because I know that you guys like these little rabbit clips, and we've got chickens over there now. Can you see the chickens down there? Should we go say hi to the chickens? And then we're going to end it, I promise. Yeah, in this very countryside, farmy Roma Theory live stream. I'm back in Rome in a few days, don't worry. I'm still in the last days of my holiday. I'm in France, northern France. So don't panic. I'll be in Rome soon. And we're back soloing it, tryharding, one video per day. I took some time off because I'm here with my family. I'm not gonna get too close because when I was very little, a rooster scratched my back. That's a personal story that I've never told anyone. Right, I wish you all the best. Let me know your thoughts about his press conference down below. Hit the like, subscribe. If you liked this live stream from this ghost house, wish me good luck tonight because I want to watch the game tomorrow, and this place gives me the vibes of like an assassin coming in and killing me tonight. Anyways, love you all. Bye bye. Simo out.